So we're trying to get our little ones swimming, right? Maybe you've tried everything. Maybe you feel like, oh, this is really not progressing as fast as I would like. These tips are for you.
Yeah, that's how you work it, lady.
Okay, so if you're like me, you have probably noticed, like, hey, I've enrolled my little ones in swim classes, but I do not feel like they are making progress. And you're like, oh man, like, I was really thinking the classes, they would just take the classes and they would just take off and be these amazing swimmers. For some kids, that might be the case. Maybe if they've already had a lot of exposure in the pool. For some kids, that is not going to be the case. You may even walk away from enrolling them in swim classes and be like, hey, did we even learn anything here? And it's all okay. But these are the tips that I want to give you. This summer, I have made like a legit effort to have the goal of, hey, I want to get my little ones swimming well. Not that I am trying to have them like swim the English Channel or something, but like be able to, hold their own in water and be safe in water and comfortable in water. So, this is what I have been doing, and I will share the tips with you. So, number one tip is I started showing them swimming video education on social media, such as YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, as well as on like TV. So, sometimes if there was a movie that I know was very water focused, hey, just watch that. There's like mermaid movies and there's, all kinds of things. There was one movie that was all about lifeguarding, just getting them kind of into the idea of, hey, look at the things you can do when you are comfortable with water. You could be a source of help or, do all these amazing things. So, just letting them see it from that aspect first. But mainly, I focused on showing them safety videos on swimming on social media. So, the American Academy of Pediatrics defines water competency as more than simply knowing how to swim, but it also includes understanding hazards, making safe decisions, knowing survival skills, and using a life jacket and recognizing when someone's in trouble. So that was kind of my whole point of showing them the videos. And the facts that you want to hone in on teaching them by showing them YouTube videos and Instagram videos is they want to learn water safety knowledge. Okay, so that is the key. So you want to make sure that you're watching demo videos that are showing your child a skill before they attempt it. So you could be like, hey, let's watch some videos on floating. And then the next day you take them to the pool and you literally try to learn, and recreate what you saw in the video the day before or even the day of. You could even show it to them right before they get in the water. Okay. Um, and you just want to make sure that they are really kind of honed in on, hey, I'm watching these videos to like pick up a skill and I want to practice that skill each time. And some of the skills, again, could be how to float, how to kick, how to breathe while swimming. New swimmers, especially, always want to plug their nose. And so, kind of showing them, hey, this is how you really want to hold your breath, giving them videos on breath control underwater, how to hold your breath with ease underwater, how to maintain your calm underwater, how to enter the water safely and exit safely, what to do if you should fall into water. So these are the types of things, different techniques. One time I showed them some videos on like synchronized swimming just to kind of get them again into, hey, look at how they're moving their body through the water and they're able to, glide through the water and do all these different cool techniques just to kind of get them to see, hey, this is what your body can do in water, just to motivate them. So I like the idea of the synchronized videos because the camera is under the pool and they could kind of see like what's happening under the water and how those swimmers are interacting and how they're moving their bodies and all that jazz. So it kind of got them like, oh, this is cool and excited about it. So that is something you could do as well. Show them the synchronized swimming videos. It's got a great view of under the water. Um, and then again, just making sure you hone in on those skills, how to float, how to tread water, how to swim on your back, how to swim on your face. Like, give them all the different swimming techniques. Look up videos on all the different techniques and then just practice them every time you go to the pool. Of course, you need to make your visits to the pool frequent. That is another thing. Like, you can't think that, like, hey, you're going to take your kids swimming once or twice for the whole year and then they're going to know how to swim. You got to get them in water throughout the year. We have several also indoor areas that we go when it is too cold outside to swim. Indoor pools, different indoor water parks for kids. Get them in water so that they can get used to it throughout the year, okay? Throughout the year. And definitely utilize summer, of course, but try to keep them swimming all of the time. I'm noticing that really is helping. And I think I kind of had that mindset of, hey, you take 6 weeks of classes, bam, you know how to swim. And that just is not how it works. Even when I thought back on my own learning to swim journey, like that was not how it actually works. So yeah, this one I really feel has helped a lot. So, number one, to recap, is showing them swimming tutorials, swimming education on social media. Okay. So, let's get into number two. Number two, young children and non swimmers should always wear a life jacket in the ocean. Here is what is going to happen if you throw your child in the ocean. They get a couple of big waves and they are not going to want to swim and they're always going to have that fear. And now he's like, oh man, I got to get him in the water. And I do want to say this, though, it is good to have a healthy fear of the ocean. I have been caught up in a wave, I think they call it a C wave or an O wave, something. And you're literally tumbling as if you're in a washing machine. And I could not get out. Honey, I got out that water. My bottoms were on one side of the beach. One breast was out. Girl, it was a disaster. And people I knew were present. So that was literally so embarrassing. But I don't even care, girl, because I am here, okay? Because for a minute there, I thought your girl was out this joint. And that was not a fun feeling, girl. It was not a fun feeling. So they need to have a healthy fear. I am not an advocate for, hey, let me see how far out in the ocean I can swim. Hey, let me try to do this and that under the water. You just want to like have enough swimming skills to be safe at the beach and like enjoy the shallow end of the beach. I tell my kids, like, going out in the ocean, it's not for you, girl. It ain't for us, okay? Ain't nobody trying to get bit by no great white shark and all that. Absolutely not. So stay near the shore. Also, swim at times when there are lots of people in the water. I feel like that is better than being out on a lone beach by yourself, especially if the water is not crystal clear. That is another reason I love going down to, my Caribbean areas and things, because the water is clear, girl. If a shark is hungry, you gonna see that bad boy from a mile away, versus when you up in those waters where you can't see nothing. Anyway, let me get off of this tangent, girl, because I just gave myself traumatization again from when I was out there in that sea, curl. It was not cute. It was not cute. So anyway, whew, number two again is with your little ones, those that are new to swimming, even if they're older kids and they're new to swimming, or heck, even adults, girl, if you know you ain't a good swimmer and you want to go out there and pedal around on the beach, put a life jacket on. So this is something that I started recently with my little ones because they're really at that age now where they're going into the water. Like before, when you have a little baby or a small toddler, they're not even going in the water like that. Like they're literally at the shore, just kind of splashing around with their cute little toesies. They're not like, trying to go out there and swim like that. But now mine are at the point where, hey, we ain't in diapers, okay? We can go out there and they see their little friends out there and they want to do the thing. So I'm like, okay, I love you guys. You are not strong swimmers yet. And even if you were, swimming in an ocean is very different than swimming in a pool. You about to wear a life jacket because I know what it felt like when I was caught up in that sea, girl. I'm not about to relive my trauma again. Okay. But it was a hot mess and I don't want them to have that experience. So I put a life jacket on my kids when they are at the beach. Now, here's the thing, ain't nobody else out there going to have a life jacket on most of the time. Girl, don't you even think about that. Most of the people in the world are doing the wrong thing anyway. We not trying to be like everybody else. We trying to be safe and maintain our own life. So I don't care if mine are the only one. I don't care if I'm the only one with a life jacket or if my kids are, even if we're with other people and their kids are not wearing life jackets, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, no one else is wearing their life jacket, girl. So take yours off. No, I'd be like, oh no, you wearing your life jacket, girl, bump your friends. Like if you can still interact and play and we can do this, everybody respect everybody's limitations. Okay. That's good that they're not wearing life jacket, but it's also good that you got yours on. The end of the story. Okay. So that's how you do that. But here is the thing. I want to share some tips from the AAP. Okay, the AAP really does advise for kids to wear life jackets. So again, this is something that most kids should be doing anyway if they're not strong swimmers. You want to make sure that your life jacket is properly fitted, that the life jacket covers the U.S. Coast Guard approved um, specs and everything for your child's weight and size. You can't just throw on any size life jacket. You can't put an adult jacket on a kid. That could actually become a drowning hazard because if it does not fit right, it could get caught on them in the water and now they're under the water longer, than they need to be. So make sure it has a proper fit. And that usually is always spelled out when you buy the jacket, the life jacket. It's pretty easy. Um, Now, here's the other thing that you want to do as well is you want to basically teach them how to like catch a wave on the top. So how to turn around, you see the wave coming, anticipate the timing, and you got your life jacket on and now jump up and float on that wave back to the shore. Just that simple skill, a lot of people don't know what to do. So immediately when they get cracked in the head with a wave, they're disoriented. They're like, oh man, I've never experienced that before. What to do? So just teaching them how to catch a wave is very good for them. Okay. Also too, in addition to the life jacket, sometimes having a boogie board is a good thing because, if they get tired, the life jacket is going to keep them up above. That's what you want. Like when you have on a life jacket, little swimmers are prone to getting exhausted in the ocean. They could even get confused or panicked that, they freak out. So they need to have their head, able to get above water. And sometimes, if the waves are coming fast, they can't do that. And so they could easily succumb. Okay. And that is not what we want to happen. So, definitely, any other floaty devices, even as simple as having those little armband floaties help. Like anything literally can help. So, definitely, definitely, definitely take advantage of putting a life jacket on your child out in the ocean. Now, here is the other thing about it when your child is out in the ocean and that kind of forces them to tap into those survival techniques. So I do recommend once your child knows the basics of swimming, taking them to the ocean and being right alongside them and swimming with them, in the ocean. If they don't have those basic skills yet, do not take them out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just don't even do that. Wait until they at least have those base level skills of kicking their feet, staying above water, things like that, and then take them out. Okay. So number three, this is the most important one. This is the literal most important one. Have them swim regularly at the pool with friends. Now, I'm going to talk more about my personal experience with this summer. This summer, they made friends with two little ones that are just spectacular girls. and I had the ability to take them to the pool multiple times, sometimes multiple times in 1 week, which you know is not easy if you are a texture hair girly. That's a lot of hair doing, that's a lot of conditioner. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of detangling. So I would like to have some kudos from y'all from getting out there. You know, we tried the swimming caps, girl. We broke one of the swimming caps, and then I was just like, forget it. We just go and wash and condition this hair. So it is not easy. It is not easy. It is not easy. So if you are a texture hair girly, I know you feel me on this, but if you want your kids to get swimming, and sometimes these little things are reasons that we, in the texture hair community, in the melanated community, if you will, this is why sometimes we are not as good as swimmers because the task of swimming is overwhelming. Taking your kid to the pool regularly, you like, oh, I gotta detangle their hair afterwards. Oh, I gotta deep condition on a and those are it's valid. It is not easy. It literally is not easy. So for you straight hair girlies with your straight hair kids, I'm gonna need some grace because we be out there with multiple to-do lists after we leave the pool with our little texture hair girlies. Like it's not a joke. It's not a joke. Like when you're at the beach, even you gotta have I take my conditioner. We just came back from the beach yesterday. I had my conditioner out there with me under the public shower, honey. I conditioned their hair right there. I was like, I ain't even playing with this. Everybody look if you want to. I don't care. I gotta take care of this. So anyway, get your head around the fact of I've got to take them regularly with friends. Now, here is why with friends matter. Okay, basic skills like propelling yourself, floating, all of these things when kids are interacting in the pool with their friends, they start doing these things without even thinking about it. So they might say, "Ooh, let's play Marco Polo." Okay, now they're jumping in the water and they're swimming faster and all that because they are now in a play mindset instead of a learning mindset. So a lot of those anxieties and fears kind of fall into the back of their mind and they're just focused on playing and having a good time. This is when you're going to see those skills really just take off and develop. It's because it's exposure therapy through play. So they are basically just in the pool playing with their friends. They also maybe they have the swim toys and they sink all the way to the bottom. It's like, oh, let's see who can get one. Well, now they're in a competition, to like get down to the bottom of the pool and get those little sinkies and bring them back up. Or hey, let's have a swimming race. We did that too. Like I was at one side of the pool and then they were swimming against their friends to come, tag me and then tag the other mom. So like get in there and make it play and you will be shocked how quickly your kids will start swimming. This especially works well if they've had some swimming classes before, but you feel like, hey, them swimming classes, oh, did we really learn anything? Like, oh, our skills still aren't there. Those skills will then start to like hone in once you put them in this play scenario. So if I were going to do this intentionally, I would enroll my child in swim classes, go through the whole 6 weeks or however long it is. And then after that, I would be ready, to put them to continuously take them to the pool throughout the whole summer. Bonus points if you can line that up back to back. A lot of swim classes for some reason start in the fall, which is kind of annoying because it'd be nice to be able to get into like more of a play right after the swim lessons. But there are some areas where they do swim classes in the spring. So again, if I were being intentional about this, I would sign my kid up for swim classes in the spring. And then I would immediately, because at that time it's going to be summer, once that 6 week session is over, and then I would put my kids, weekly to go swim with their friends. Hey, let's go to the pool today. Hey, let's go to the pool today. And they're playing Marco Polo. They're having swim races. And now, before you know it, they're using those skills that they learned in play. That is honestly, guys, how I learned to swim. I never took swim classes. Okay. I remember they took me to the pool. They were like, "Yeah, we're gonna send her up for swim classes." I had my little swimsuit on and everything was ready to go. But I guess my parents didn't realize like, hey, you have to sign up for stuff ahead of time. You can't just like bring your kid to something with their swimsuit on and they be ready to go. And I remember I was so excited, like, ooh, I'm gonna learn how to swim. And they were like, well, did you register for classes? Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So I couldn't actually really swim at all. I learned to swim when I was probably in about the fourth grade. I can remember going to the pool with my friends, my two childhood friends, one of which that I'm still friends with to this day. And they were swimming in the pool, and the one was telling me like, okay, well, you got to put your hands out and you got to do this and you got to go under the water. And that was, I think that was actually the first time that I had gotten in a pool, you guys, was the fourth grade, because before that I don't think I'd ever gotten in a pool. I remember one time splashing around at a pool, um but I didn't have on a swimsuit. It was just like, playing on the steps. I do have memories of going to the beach, but yeah, that was really my first time ever getting in the water like that. And my I was just looking around and I had these two girls there that were my same age, and wow, they could do all these amazing things in the water. And then one was so kind, and I just think about like the power of our little ones teaching and playing with each other. Like I was taught how to swim by another little fourth grader, and it just kind of clicked for me, and I was like, yeah, I want to do this. And I was never really like the best swimmer, obviously, because I didn't have formal classes. It was just like occasional swimming over the summer. It was not consistent for many years. But once I started getting actually into my late teens, that's when I started swimming more. And I really want to say, guys, I probably was not a confident swimmer until I was in my early 20s. Like, so everybody's journey with swimming, looks a little bit different. A lot of things impact swimming. Like, or were your parents swimmers? Typically, people whose parents weren't swimmers, they either swim late or they may not ever become swimmers as well. Socioeconomic things also impact, our swim abilities and things like that. So, that was just my story, but that always stuck with me. Like, hey, I literally learned to swim over some summers, with these girls. But that first summer is like just ingrained in my head how much fun we had. And I also remember it was a pool party that day and there was pizza, and I threw up in the pool. Probably because I had never been in water like that before. I was probably really excited, and I remember drinking a lot of water. I drank a ton of pool water. I feel like for the first 3 summers I swam, all I did was drink pool water. um, so that was probably another reason why I threw up, and it was super embarrassing. And the lifeguard had to come and scrape the throw up out of the pool, and everybody get out the pool. You know what? I'm just realizing that my water things. I've had a couple of interesting water experiences, from coming out the ocean half naked and then throwing up in the pool. It's been a hot mess for me, but that's all right because my kids are gonna be better. That is the point, right? We want our kids to be better than us and be great swimmers. And we can progress too. Now I'm really comfortable in the water. Like I always will get in and swim with my girls and we have a great time, and I can do flips in the water, and I can, swim almost the full length of the pool on one breath, and I can cannonball in. I can go off the diving board, like it's crazy, going off the diving board probably didn't start until I was like, yeah, late teens is when I started going off the diving boards and doing all of that. So it will happen. It's just, we want to make sure that we get our kids comfortable with the water so they have an interest in swimming. They don't have that fear, and then I feel like when people get older, it becomes like a source of like embarrassment for people, because I do know people who are, like moms, and they're like, I don't know how to swim. So, because they're fearful that they just never take their kids around water, or maybe they're too lax. I feel like my mom was probably a little bit lax. Like she just let me go off with people and we would be in the pool and whatever. Like, thankfully, nothing ever happened, but I'm very hands on with my kids. If my kids are going to be around water, they're not going around water with anybody else but me and my husband. Like, those are, because if you forget my child because you over talking to somebody, trying to kick it with somebody or something, and then my child is over here, like, struggling, or has an issue, we are going to have a major problem. So I don't allow my kids to go to the pool with anybody else but me or my husband. So, just little things like that, guys. You just always have to be proactive. But again, just getting them in that water is going to get them comfortable, and eventually it will all kick in. So, again, just to recap everything, we talked about today. Number one, you want to show them swimming videos on social media. Number two, you want to make sure you put a life jacket on your child if you're going to take them in that ocean. Number three, have your kids swim regularly at the pool with friends. Now, let's talk about number four. This is a bonus one. Enroll them in an American Red Cross water safety training. Okay. What Red Cross does is they have like specialized survival swimming classes that you could enroll your child in. I have not done this yet. Personally, I'm waiting till they get just a little bit bigger. I'm working on local regular swim classes and swimming with friends right now. But once they get a little bit bigger, I would like for them to really um hone in their skills. Like, really get some like legit survival skills and stuff like that. Now, some of the things that they will learn in these survival classes is water rescue, surveillance, rescue techniques, survival techniques for themselves, um, behavior around water, again, more water safety for each age level. They even have one-on-one classes, but they also do the group classes as well. So it's a learn to swim class, but it has a focus on basic water and safety. So that would be step one of that. Now, step two, if you want to take it a little bit further, a great thing to do is when your kid is like teenage, for those of you who have teenagers out there, get them signed up as a lifeguard. Have them apply as a lifeguard. To be a lifeguard, there's lots of tests that you have to do, swim tests. So you have to be able to do multiple things. You got to be able to swim 150 yards. You have to be able to swim for 2 minutes using only your legs. You got to be able to swim 50 yards and complete a timed rescue. You've got to be able to be comfortable in 10 feet or more of water. So there's a lot of things. Plus, you have to know the survival techniques. You also have to know CPR, surveillance tips, all these things. You learn a lot when you are becoming a lifeguard. So there are some adorable little teenage girls that I know. We're in the same hall, and they're sisters, and they're all lifeguards. I believe all of them have been lifeguards. I know the oldest two are lifeguards. The youngest one might still be a bit young for it. But they work at the local pool, and they've gone through the whole lifeguard training, and they're great swimmers. And it's a great way to get your kid to a whole nother level of water safety. So they earn a little money, plus they are, learning another skill, and then they get their CPR certification. So I would definitely recommend going that route. When mine get a little bit bigger, I think I'll have them, apply for that as well when they get into those teenage years. Like, hey, go ahead and try out for being a lifeguard. See if, your skills are good for that, or if you can get some type of on the job training for a lifeguard. So that's another way to really push that on forward. So, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video about water safety, about getting our kids to swim. Quick, random tips that work. These tips are working for me. They are going to work for you, especially that one about getting them swimming around friends. It's going to work. Consistency is key, and it is hard to be consistent. And I'm including myself in that. Like, it is not easy to be consistent. So, all right, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's important.
Welcome to Work It Lady podcast, where it's time to put in the work regarding educating yourself on all areas of your health and well-being. At Work It Lady podcast, we are dedicated to empowering women to take control of their health and mental well-being. Our mission is to provide women with the knowledge, inspiration, and tools needed to transform their lives, from improving nutrition and fitness, navigating womanhood, and if you're a mom, excelling at motherhood. Step 1, like this episode. Step 2, share it with someone you love, and even the haters, they need help too. Step 3, subscribe on podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, join our mailing list to stay in the loop on classes and events. I am so happy you made it here, girl. Thank you.